Okay, so today I'm going through the Year 8 Integers and Real Numbers 2020 Maths exam, and let's see what we've got. Alright, number 1. What is the sum of? Well, that means addition, so I'm just going to add it up. 9, 10, 5. So the answer is 509. And we're writing our answer out again. Difference means subtraction, so 716 minus the 45. Borrow from our 7, 11, take away 4 is 7, so our answer is 671. Divided by, how many times does 6 go into? 4, 8, 7, 2. 0 carried 4, 6 times 8 is 48. Goes in once, carried 2, it's 812. Alright, question 4. 43 times 56, we set it out as our multiplication. 3 times 6 is 18, 4 times 6 is 24, now our tens. 3 times 5 is 15, 4 times 5 is 20, 5 plus 5 is 10, 2, 3, 4, and a 2, so our answer is 2,408. Question 5, what is the product of? Alright, so it's 1, 3, 4, 7, 6 times by 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 7 times 8 is 56, plus the 4. 4 times 8 is 32, plus the 6. 3 times 8 is 24, plus the 3. 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 2 is 10. So our answer is 107,808. Alright. 6. The value of the denominator, which is the bottom part of a fraction, is 8, so it's B. Which of the following is not equivalent to a half? That's a half, that's a half, that's 2. When it's written as an improper, so 2 times 6 is 12, plus the 2 is 14 over 6. There. So round to 2 decimal places down here, just move the camera. So it's being done 14.7, and because it's a 9, you get 14.75. Write using the correct notation, so it's 1.7 recurring, and it's 2 num 101010, so it'll be 314.10, and it's got a line above them for there. Alright, question 10, evaluate. 2 negatives next to each other make a positive. 5 plus 4 is 9. So minus 8 plus 10 makes that 2. Now 2 negatives next to each other becomes 12 plus 12, which is 24. This becomes positive negative becomes a negative. Minus 2, take away another 4 is minus 6. Minus 8, take away another 1 is minus 9. And well, minus 1 plus 2 is 1. And 1 take away 3 is negative 2. Question 11. Alright. Well, 6 times 7 is 42. 1 negative means the answer is negative. 10 times 5 is 50. 2 negative means the answer is positive. Right, 5 times what is 40 is 8. And because the answer is negative, must be a negative 8. 12. 34 divided by 2 is 17. 1 negative, answer is negative. 40 divided by 2 is 20. 1 negative, answer must be negative. Alright, bid maths. Get minus 4 times negative 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 2 negatives means the answer is positive. So that becomes 7 plus 3. And that becomes negative 15. So we end up with 10 minus 15. So the answer must be negative 5. 13. Find 21% of 620. Alright. So 10% must be 62. Therefore 20%, if I double it, must be 124. And if I divide this by 10 to get 1%, must be 6.2. So 21%, if I add it up, 124, well that'd be 130.2. So 130.2 is our answer. Complete the following. Alright, so we can only add fractions when the denominator is the same. So I'm going to times this fraction here by 3 over 3, and I'm going to times this fraction here by 5 over 5 to get 9 over 15 plus 5 over 15, which is 14 over 15. We must have this correctly there. Same, so the lowest common denominator is actually 12, so I'm going to times this by 2 over 2, times this by 3 over 3 to get 10 over 12 minus 3 over 12, which is 7 over 12, and you must have what you're timesing it by correctly there. So there's the answer for 14B. 15, so we need to add them up. Now you could add up the 3 and 3 separately, as well as the fractions for this one. So if I did a quarter plus 2/3 plus 3 plus 3, I'm going to times this by 3 over 3 and this one by 4 over 4 to get 3 over 12 plus 8 over 12 plus 3 plus 3, which means my answer is 6 and 11 over 12. Now this one though, we have to make improper. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 1 is 7 over 3, minus 1 times 8, plus 7 is 15 over 8. Now we need to make the denominators the same. So you get 56 over 24 minus 45 over 24, which becomes 11 over 24 there. 16, solve the following. So we just top times top. 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 9 is 45. Now this can simplify because 3 can go into both of them. 3 goes into 6 twice, and 3 goes into 45 15. So it's actually 2 over 15 for the 2 marks. So 6 times 5 is 30, so it becomes 30 over 7, and we'll change that into a mixed number. Well, 7 times 4 is 28 with 2 left over. Part C, when we divide by fractions, so we're going to keep the first, flip the second and multiply. 7 times 4 is 28. 12 times 3 is 36. And you can half both of them to get 14 over 18. We can half them again to get 7 over 9 is our final answer. Alright, question 17. Convert this to a decimal. So this actually says 7 divided by 8. So how many times can 8 go into 7? And we're going to give ourselves some decimal points. So 8 can't go into 7, carries 7. 8 times 7, 8 times 8 is 64, with 6 left over. 8 times 7 is 56 with 4 left over, and 8 times 5 is 40, so our answer is 0.875, because then there'd just be zeros from now on. Convert this to a percentage. Alright, well let's simplify the fraction first. Divide by 3 and we're going to get 4 over 5, which would be the same as 8 over 10, which would be the same as 80 over 100. Over 100 means percent, so it must be 80%. Alright, question 19. A magic ball increases in weight by 1.2 kilograms per day. If it starts at 5 kilograms, how much would it weigh after 15 days? Well, let's see its increase. So it's going to be 15 times 1.2. I'll put the decimal point in later. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. We get 180. And now I'm going to put my 1 decimal point, which is 18. So it's grown by 18 kilos. It started at 5. Add that up. 3, 2. It now weighs 23. And let's not forget the units, kilograms. A shoe shop is having a 15% sale. If shoes cost $80, how much would they cost in the sale? Well, let's find 15%. 10% must be 8. 5%, well, half of that is 4. Therefore, 15% must be 12. Sale means discount, so we take it away. 10 take away 2 is 8. 7 take away 1 is 6. The shoes now cost $68. Alright. Question 21. Dave runs 1 kilometre in 5.5 minutes. how long would it take him to run 6.2 kilometers at the same pace? So it's going to be a 5.5 multiplied by 6.2. I'm just doing 55 times 62. I'll add the decimal points in later. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 6 is 30. So you get 0, 1, 4, 3. How long would it take him? So we ignored 1, 2, so put 2 decimal places. It's 34.1 minutes. Now convert your answer to minutes and seconds. Well, that's 34 minutes. Now this is 0.1 of a minute, which is like 10% of a minute. Because there are 60 seconds, that makes it 6 seconds. So it's quite tricky. 0.1 means 10, because there's 60 seconds, 10% of 60 is 6. So there is our answer. Question 22. In a bag of marbles, 20% are red, 1/3 blue, and the rest are green if there are 75 marbles. Alright, so that means 10% would be 7.5. Double it for 20% is 15, so that's how many are red. 1/3, well, how many times does 3 go into 75? 2, carry the 1, 5, so there are 25 green. How many? 25 blue, sorry, so I'll do, so I don't get confused, red and blue. Now red plus blue means that that's 40 are red and blue. Red plus blue equals 40. 75 in the bag, so it must be 35 green. Okay, so there's 35 of them which are green. 23. John eats 1/5 of a large chocolate bar on day 1, 1/5 on day 2, and 1/5 on day 3. The block weighed 400 grams to start with. Alright, so if he's eating 1/5 on day 1, 5 times 8 is 40. So he's eaten 80 grams on day 1, which means after his 80 grams, there's 320 left. Right, day 2. Carry the 3, 5 times 6 is 30, 4, so he eats 64 grams on day 2, so we'll take away the 64. 10 take away 4 is 6, 11 take away 6 is 5, and that's 2, so there's 256 grams left. And on day 3, we do the same. I'm going to add in a 0.0 just in case. Let's make the camera. 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 1. So it's 51.2. So finally, there was 256 minus the 51.2. So 10 take away 2 is 8. 5 take 1 is 4. 0, 2. How much does it weigh after day 3? It weighs 204.8 grams. So we took away 5th on day 1, 5th on day 2, 5th on day 3. There's our final amount. Tricky question. Now our last question is, write 3.245 as a fraction in its simplest form. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is call that x equals 3.245. So 10x would be 32.45 recurring. Now I want to get another 45 recurring. Now 100x would be 324.54, then to a different, so 1000x would be 3245.45. Now this and this both have the same decimals recurring, so if I subtract that, 1000 take away 10 is 990x. The decimals cancel each other out. And 3245 minus 32 is 3213, so equals 3213. And then divide that by 990, which would be our fraction. Now that gets a bit tricky, really. Another way of doing this is what we could do is when you've got 10x equals 32.45, that means 10x equals 32 and 45 over 99. So you can simplify this to get 32 divided by 3 to get 15 over 33 as 10 lots of x. So So therefore, if you divide that by 10, you'd be able to get your 3.2 and so on. So therefore, we must be able to simplify this. What I'm going to do, going back to here, is do a 990 and just go through my time, add it up. 9 plus 9 is 18, which is 19. So that's 2, add 990 again. 18, 19, 2. So it goes in twice, once. So that's 2 lots of 9, and there's 3 lots of it. And then I can work out, 2 lots of it was 2,970. So if I take away our 2,970, which is 4, there's 2 and 0, and there's 243 left. So there it is as a mixed, there it is as an improper. Probably this is how I would do it going through this, but it's quite a tough question to go through that one anyway, because then you don't have to do this method, because then you'd have to end up dividing it by 10, which could get fiddly. This is the answer that we want. And that's how to get 100% on the Year 8 integers and real numbers.